Welcome back, everybody. My special co-host today is Dr. John DeMartini, who is teaching us that no matter what situation you're in, the most powerful person in your life is you. Our next guest had no one else to count on when she found herself broke and homeless. She felt hopeless and helpless. 18 months later, she was a millionaire. Please welcome Dr. Elon Bomani.
Thank you for having me.
And you can look back now and say, wow, what a journey. We were saying earlier that a lot of times people are like, oh, they don't like adversity, they don't welcome it, they don't want, it is our greatest lesson.
Yeah, adversity, having adversity, it gives you equal or greater benefit, and also gets you closer to God. I'm very clear about that, because when I was telling people I was homeless, but I wasn't helpless or hopeless. And I'm very clear that anybody can accomplish their dreams if they choose to do so.
Yeah, let's back up to how you got there, because it also enlightens you on the things that we did to find ourselves in that situation, if you will.
Right.
You always grew up fearful as a child, not quite feeling like you fit in as a child.
Like most individuals, when you grow up with a mom, broken home, on welfare, dad, unfortunately, a drug dealer, etc. So you grow up with those type of beginnings. You start to think you're a product of your circumstances. Right. But, you realize that you come from the same sources, Oprah and Deborah and a lot of other people out there that you have in an abundance universe you have access to. So I decided to tap into that.
Yeah, which is something that so many kids, if they could just understand that their environment does not define them. Yes.
Well, as I said earlier, you can be a victim of your history or a master of your destiny. It's not what happens to you, it's what you decide to do with it.
Exactly.
And if you made a list and went on the Google and looked up all the people that started out that way, that went off to do one of the most extraordinary things in the world, you realize that instead of being that victim, you'd say, this is an opportunity.
Yes.
More down and out you've been,
yes,
more up and in you're capable of going.
Yeah, and going back to society, if they looked at the beginning of your life, would have said, okay, dismiss that one, not going to make it. But it also, what it did was affected your relationships. So we're going to talk a little bit more about relationships a little bit later. But what you have a tendency to do is try to, I think, for me, I did the same thing of marry what I thought was confidence.
Yes, and also you marry your dad. You see, my dad was unavailable when I was young, so I married a man that was emotionally unavailable. And usually when you're emotionally unavailable, you have issues with money too, because you're tight-fisted with money, you're tight-fisted with what? Your emotions.
Right.
So I was attracting to me that relationship I didn't have as a youth. So I was very clear that, when I was in that relationship, that when I changed, unfortunately, that relationship sometimes does not change with you.
Right.
So that's where sometimes you have to make a choice.
I was trying to rescue the wounded puppy all the time, And so that didn't work out for you. And then the thing that happened that kind of sent you on your heels is that he took off with the money.
Yes, he decided to empty our joint checking account. The War of the Roses, yes. But keep in mind, as you're pointing one finger at him, guess what? 3 fingers are pointing back at you. Right. So that's why you're in control of your destiny. Now, I always tell people, yes, I did have my 5-minute pity party, but I didn't play the victim blame shame game, because that leaves you powerless.
Absolutely. And that's
so once you take responsibility for your circumstances, then you're in control, and then you're empowered.
Right.
Any area of your life you're not empowered in, you're automatically vulnerable to somebody overpowering you.
Exactly.
You're not a victim of their over-empowerment, you're just not empowered. And they've come into your life to wake you up, to realize the power that you're hiding from yourself, but you're capable of expressing.
Exactly. That's why I tell people to turn the tragedy into a triumph.
Right.
Lemon into lemonade.
And you did that. How did you make that lemonade? You squeezed a lot of lemons, but okay, so there's a baby. So it's one thing when you're by yourself, but you got this little life to take care of.
Right, exactly.
You're a baby and no money. In fact, when I say no money, you had $36.
I was temporary cash, Deborah. We don't ever say we broke. We're temporary cash. But what I did was just very proactive things that everybody can do. In a nutshell, after I had my pity party, 5 minutes, that's all you're given, then I started to be proactive. And what I did was I decided to buy a house. I had nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Because you had good credit.
Yes, that was very true. And in doing so, but once again, divine universe was setting for you. That's why it's all about making a decision. Once you make the decision, everything you need, the people, place, and circumstances will show up for you. So what I did when I bought the house, it had a sold sign on it, Deborah. But when I called up the agent and act like I knew, you faith it until you make it. Because you can't lie about the future.
Right.
So in doing so, I basically bought the house for $125,000. Had a 100% finance loan, and walked out of the closing with a check for $625. I paid more for a dress at Nordstrom's than I did my first house. Matter of fact, they paid me to buy it.
And then you started making real estate. You learned how to play the game in real estate.
Yes, you do. Right, exactly. And what I did was I connected with other people who had money. I didn't have to use my money or even my credit. Formulated limited partnership, instituted other people's money and also credit, and then it was on from there. Never looked back. Always look forward for your destiny.
Yeah.
When you manage money wisely, you receive more money to manage. And when you value yourself, other people begin to value you.
Exactly, exactly.
Well,
that is very true.
From $36 to millionaire. All right, we have someone else in the audience who'd like to make a comment or ask a question. Hi there, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Kim Mena, and y'all are just truly, this is so hard to get through. Y'all are amazing.
Thank you.
We work with a lot of kids in 3rd Ward with an organization called Dinner is Possible, and we're always telling the kids, you know, don't let anything stop you, but, I mean, this is just inspiring me to just give them more and more and more, because this is why we do it. We want to give them, to let them know that the world is your platform.
Yes.
And don't let anything stop you. And they are labeled at school every day. They're kicked and they're in the bad class. And so thank you so much for, thank you, God, for letting me be here.
Thank you.
You know, it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It matters if you have a dream.
Yeah.
And if you focus on the flowers and not on the weeds, focus on the dream and not on the problems, you increase the probability of manifesting the people, places, things, ideas, and events to make that into reality.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Bomani. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having
Thank you.
me.
For more information on Dr. Elon Bomani, go to greatdayhouston.com. Coming up, doctors weren't sure if he would ever walk again. In fact, they were surprised that he even survived. How one man says he used the power of positive thinking to heal his body.